So I'm not exactly sure where my audience is going to fall, so if you don't get why these are red flags, I think it will be better if I tell you, in case you don't know. First, the older woman is a force of beauty that plays by her own rules. She exists outside society, yet is so vulnerable that she depends on a younger man like Araragi. None of those traits are crimes. Isolation and vulnerability are common human conditions. The problem begins with what she does with them. This is how grooming works. A grooming adult doesn't merely reveal vulnerability, they bind it to obligation. Their pain and whims become something another person is expected to manage, stabilize, or sacrifice for. Dependency is framed as intimacy, care is framed as loyalty, withdrawal is framed as betrayal or even death. No one is forced, no one is threatened, meaning does the work that violence usually does. One person sets the terms, defines the stakes, and decides what refusal costs. Sometimes the price isn't even obvious at first. Sometimes it's sex, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's a life-changing help that turns into a permanent leverage. Now, back to the story. This encounter leaves Araragi broken and not fully normal. In this series, he can get close to being human, but never completely, because experiences like this mark you for life. You can become highly functional, but never whole again, because your whole worldview has been warped. This is what this movie is about. It's not telling you that it's wrong, because that is not what it's trying to do. It's telling you how it feels like, how it feels to go through something like that. In a way, you can see it as the darkest end of the spectrum in a series of stories about this exact topic. The younger man's grooming experience with the older woman. First, we have Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is the most clear and assertive depiction of the spectrum, and it paints things much more clearly. The older woman there is an explicitly undercover evil force, which draws a vivid line between good and evil, and it also clarifies her intentions. Then, in the middle of the spectrum, we have the original 6-episode series of Furikuri. Yes, Furikuri was about a coming of age in the middle of a grooming. That's what it was about. Here the older woman is a wild person that plays by her rules and can do many cool things the younger man wants. But she is ultimately implied to be a bad person that will give the protagonist mean eyebrows if he stays with her. And finally, we have Kizumonogatari. Here the abuser is half villain, half heroine, deadly, timeless, and also gorgeous. And you might feel, man, Kizumonogatari is f***ed. Hold this for a moment. Writing to document feelings, no matter how grown they are, is also a very valid form of writing, just like writing to teach. And hell, you can even argue that documenting an experience, rather than trying to preach about it, makes the story more honest. It allows them to understand every facet of your position, rather than what you want them to hear. It helps everybody see the full picture of your perspective. Watching Kizumonogatari can put you in the shoes of someone who lives this kind of experience. An older woman is telling you that you need to kill 3 men to save her, and the only person that you can see is a helpless little girl that asks you to pat her on their head. Symbolism is genius. Symbolism is genius. It shows you how powerful it can feel, how freeing it can feel, how beautiful it can feel. It never once tells you that there is something deeply wrong with it, other than the whole affair is a bit sad and inconvenient. And when it ends, you realize why this kind of relationship is so dangerous. There is also something deeply embarrassing about Kizumonogatari though. There is something deeply naive and cringe about these 3 movies. So, just wait for the next video and you will see what I mean. I hope that you have a great day and... wait, my name is Gerson Samelis and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.